Jerry Lewis earned his career successes as a popular figure in American comedy, often in the face of a form of cinematic screwball humour that emphasised zany expressions and slapstick comedy, a specific brand that was at its heights in the 1960s. As a comedic icon of his time, he excelled, yet many people may know Jerry Lewis better for one of the films he wrote, directed and starred in that never completely made it to the light of day. The Day the Clown Cried is a film that has earned a controversial reputation, in part due to its unintentionally distasteful nature, but also due to how much Jerry Lewis absolutely hated the movie. With its reputation more widely known than the amount of people who had actually seen the film, although bootleg copies and VHS rips exist of limited footage, the complete film has not been publicly made available. It was inevitable that potential audiences would be curious as to why exactly Jerry Lewis hated this film in particular, leaving us asking the question, what the hell happened to The Day the Clown Cried? From what we know from resources publicly available regarding Jerry Lewis's infamous comedy drama, The Day the Clown Cried focused on Helmut Dork, a clown sent to a Nazi concentration camp, attempting to cheer up the morale of the children, but eventually leading them to their deaths in the gas chamber. This premise alone is bound to make viewers uncomfortable. The setting of the Holocaust could become offensive if Jerry Lewis's film makes light of a subject that killed millions, leaving survivors traumatized. The premise, however, could also offer potentially engaging drama in a well-intentioned character unaware of the atrocity he is about to contribute to. It would be a difficult film to achieve tastefully, which begs the question, why would the zany comedy star Jerry Lewis wish to take on this project? Jeffrey McNabb summarises Jerry Lewis's motivation here concisely, elaborating on the intended artistic decision to shift abruptly into a more darkly dramatic turn. In his article on the film, McNabb stated that, shot in the early 1970s, it has notoriously never been officially released in any form, and only tiny snippets of footage have ever made their way into the public arena. Lewis, at that point in his career, was trying to reinvent himself after his zany comedy persona of the 50s and 60s was no longer so popular. Like many people in creative positions, Jerry Lewis seemed to aspire for a career that stretched beyond his absurdist comedy outings towards something more dramatic. This isn't unheard of, and there have been more successful career transitions from comedy to drama, from Adam Sandler in Punch Drunk Love and Uncut Gems, to Jim Carrey in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's an understandable career change to aspire for, especially when Jerry Lewis's career began to reach a standstill in the 70s. While Jerry Lewis would find renewed popularity in Martin Scorsese's brilliant The King of Comedy as an extension of himself playing a comedic talk show host, The Day the Clown Cried would not be the career restart that he initially sought after. Further into his article, Jeffrey McNabb outlines issues with The Day the Clown Cried, from the film's inherently distasteful directorial decisions to the legal issues behind the scenes. Toe-curling clips explain at least part of the reason, with Lewis's clown pretending his nose is caught in barbed wire to amuse the kids, and doing a Pied Piper routine at the gas chamber door. These suggest he was right to keep The Day the Clown Cried off the screen on taste grounds alone. There were also familiar industry reasons behind the picture's abandonment: contractual disputes, wrangles with producers and writers, money problems and creative differences. Most crucially, Lewis wasn't in full possession of the rights to the script when he began shooting. The scenes described, a clown's nose caught in barbed wire and a Pied Piper routine into the gas chamber, sound unintentionally distasteful, and we gain a clearer reasoning as to why Jerry Lewis became so haunted by this film, hoping nobody ever saw it. A sense of embarrassment due to not trying to necessarily make light of the Holocaust, but not succeeding in conveying the intention he clearly had in mind by portraying a character who tried to lighten the worries of children. Additionally, the contractual and rights disputes behind the scenes would only complicate matters, limiting what Jerry Lewis could do as writer-director, without the interfering influences of executives who weren't so personally involved with the story. With fuller creative control, and to be somewhat blunt, maybe in the hands of a better director, The Day the Clown Cried might have worked in a similar way as to Roberto Benigni's polarising yet immensely successful Life is Beautiful, a story about a father who tries to keep his son's morale up, hiding him the best he can from witnessing the atrocities of a concentration camp. While Life is Beautiful faced similar criticisms to Jerry Lewis over how viewers felt it made light out of a devastating subject matter, it feels clear that Benigni's tale strives to focus on human endurance amongst troubling odds. Whether Jerry Lewis's story achieved a similar sense of sincerity and poignancy has yet to be seen by the vast public. Alongside The Day the Clown Cried scenes that can be interpreted as offensive and the production troubles behind the scenes, to put it plainly, Jerry Lewis tried his damnedest to make sure nobody would see the film in any shape or form. His reaction is of disdain, embarrassment over what he had created, and he clearly deemed it unworthy of viewing, considering it not only a dreadful film, but possibly a career killer. Something he wouldn't want available publicly after his attempt to shift towards a more dramatic path to renew his own career. Now we know the film exists in some form, another question arises: where is it? Once again, Jeffrey McNabb highlights what Jerry Lewis did with the film footage. Lewis is shown appearing on American chat shows in the early 1970s, breezily claiming the project would soon be completed. However, the emotionally shattered writer-director-comedian had in fact fled his own set with reels of the film under his arm. He wasn't letting anybody see it. His footage was eventually donated to at the Library of Congress, with an agreement not to show it until at least 2024. Although there is little prospect of a public screening, the library may make it available to researchers. By donating the film to the Library of Congress, restricting its accessibility until, at least, 2024, Jerry Lewis achieved his goal of deciding when, where, and how people are able to watch The Day the Clown Cried, beyond leaked footage and bootleg releases. Limiting access to research purposes means that the film will be available for study rather than personal or recreational viewing, a demonstration of the importance of preserving films even if poorly received or disowned by their creators. By preserving The Day the Clown Cried, there is a lesson to be learned in the challenges of Don Quixotic filmmaking. A good intention making a fumbled production, while also chronicling the artistic endeavours of a popular figure within American cinema. So does this mean that we can now finally watch The Day the Clown Cried and make up our own opinions on the film, even within a research context? After all, 2024 has been and gone. The Library of Congress specifies what was donated to their archives, stating that, for the first time, the National Audiovisual Conservation Center at the Library of Congress is making material from Jerry Lewis's unfinished Holocaust film The Day the Clown Cried available for research use. The library holds a portion of preprint material from the film, however, the library does not hold the complete film. After reviewing the material, archivists determined the library holds 13 silent colour negative film reels, 9 quarter-inch audio tape reels, and 6 reels of silent colour reversal behind the scenes footage. All of these materials have been digitised for research access and preservation. The film and sound do not appear to match, however, and more research will be required to determine whether any portions of film and sound may align. The Day the Clown Cried is incomplete. With silent colour negative film reels, and both visual and sound resources not matching, and very likely missing scenes, some not even shot, Jerry Lewis's film does not exist within a completed form. While these materials remain valuable in preserving the artistic endeavours of a popular figure, The Day the Clown Cried is not something that could be conventionally screened. An example of a filmmaker exhausted by his own work, he would have preferred to leave it in the dust if it wasn't for the encouragement of film archivism. In conclusion, while the result of an incomplete film may disappoint those who are curious to form their own views on Jerry Lewis's infamous film production, The Day the Clown Cried remains an example of the importance of film preservation, even for troubled and unfinished works. The footage that exists remains a historic chronicling of an artist's controversial, misguided attempt towards a rekindled career, and serves as a significant lesson in how to, or how not to, approach sensitive subject matter. Yes, the film is incomplete, and yet Jerry Lewis's resentment of his own turbulent production remains a fascinating curio of cinematic history. A special thank you to my incredible tier Patreon supporter Gil and Jared Spears of Concessions, as well as my super tier Patreon supporters Spoldzilla and Audio Casey.